p.m. hour, and you're listening to 92.3 Nigeria Info. I am Kala Dakurubatibo. It's my pleasure having you on the other side of the radio as we push the conversation for development. It is time to look at the political dynamics in Rivers State. And as you know, the fight for political structure has now rested beautifully inside of the courts, right? So now the courts are where everyone is looking at as it relates to the issue of the Rivers State fight for political structure. Now, however, the are certain political dynamics at play. For instance, we still have the fight as to who would be or should be the proper local government administration. We still have, the talk of the possibility of Martin Amaewhule and co returning to the hallowed chambers of the legislative arm of government, which means that there is the possibility that we will go back to the conversations possibility. I'm not the one who's going to do that, but the possibility of an impeachment conversation. So the fight is not yet over. It is going to be a back and forth. It continues. All that we're doing is wait for the courts. And I'm now looking at the political dynamics. What alliance can be done and what realliance should be looked at? What political move should the governor make, and what is the best political move for the governor at this point? So we're looking at it. Remember a few days ago, sometime last week, the governor said the PDP has failed us. He was, of course, referring to himself and himself and his followers. And the response or the statement was PDP is not doing us any good, and so we will start a movement. So what are the political ties the governor should be looking at? What is the political dynamics at this point? And that is the conversation you and I should have, and we are having. And joining me to have this conversation is a social-political commentator. He is a media guru as well. And I'm talking about Marcus Ijoma. Marcus, welcome. What is on you? I was going to say what's on your mind, but welcome first of all.
Good evening, and welcome, Port Harcourt. Thank you, Port Harcourt, for having me tonight.
All right, Marcus. First question: what do you think are the political options for the governor at this point? I mean, given what is currently playing out in Rivers State right now, the judicial pendulum is not swinging. I mean, right now, as the case is not swinging in favor of the governor. What should he be doing politically, in your opinion?
There are so many things he can be doing. However, we just need to first and foremost acknowledge the fact that this whole case is going to end up in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, true.
And I'm one of those who sincerely want it to end up in the Supreme Court.
I agree.
So that for the first time, we will lay to rest the issues surrounding legality or illegality of defection. And then that will help us begin to play ideological politics. Politics of conviction before you join a political party. Not necessarily seeing a political party as just a vehicle for winning an election. So, having said that, the first option available to the governor right now is to encourage whoever went to court to go on appeal. Because there are so many cases, right?
Yeah,
for this particular one that has been decided, his camp in the House of Assembly can proceed on an appeal to the Supreme Court. In other words, you move a step higher. That will buy him more time to plan his game. However, he's the leader of the PDP in the state. So when he said the PDP is not doing them any good, I don't know what that means. Because before you start looking for the intervention of the federal, you are totally in charge of the state.
Okay.
Of the leader of the party in the state, even though you are not the chairman. So one will expect that in the normal Nigerian political setting, the best thing to have done, if he has control of the world famous structure, political structure of the PDP, is to find a reason to expel these people from their party at the ward level. That is the easiest way to out. But it looks like he doesn't have that, because the current state chairman probably does not belong to his camp, because his silence speaks volume. He's as silent as the national chairman as well. So these are the issues. So if he wants to move into a movement, I will advise the second option, if he can encourage his boys in the House of Assembly to move to Supreme Court, is to begin to prepare to move his own structure, which he currently have in the spirit of the simplified movement, to another political party. I don't think there's any law stopping the governor from defecting. So those are the two possible options I see. The third option, like you mentioned, is not on the table. The option, if he doesn't settle on time, he might still face the impeachment threat and all of that. Well, for an impeachment to be valid, the grounds for impeachment must also be valid. So that is the last option for anybody as we speak, and that may take us close to the election in 2027.
All right, so it should do either of the first two things you mentioned, or just weather the storm and just find a way to get close to the election and survive.
Yes,
but
time, yes.
You mentioned the PDP, him being the leader of the PDP. As it seems right now, it looks like the fight for the PDP is weightier than we thought it would be. Because I do remember former Governor, His Excellency Peter Ardili, Dr. Peter Ardili, mentioning and saying that His Excellency Siminalayi Fubara is the leader, the political leader here in Rivers State.
However, that is the political culture in Nigeria.
However, like
is the leader. Yes.
Okay. However, like you've pointed out, it doesn't seem like it. I mean, you said that. But the next question then is, do you think it will be the best thing for the governor and his followers to build whatever structure they have around the people? I know in government, in a government class, they would say government is for the people, by the people, of the people. But in Nigerian system, it is government of who know who get who, and who's got the political structure. So that's why we're talking about what will be the best approach. Should he find a way, weather the storm, and build a structure based on Rivers people who are members of the simplified movement?
The only time the people can come to his rescue is if he is able to remain governor till 2027. That is when the people, his supporters on the streets in every local government, can really, really show their strength. Until then, the people can barely do nothing, because the people are not necessarily members of PDP. Most of the simplified people are not necessarily, they are just, this thing we say in our pidgin lingua, the enemy of your friend is your friend. So anybody who doesn't like the former governor of Rivers State or the FCT minister now, as it were, is sympathetic to the governor. They are not necessarily members of the PDP. They are cut across the obedient movement, Labour Party, some parts of APC, and all of that. So those people can only be useful to him if he's able to hold sway till the next election. That is, if at all he's even interested in going for a second tenure. That is an option that only he knows.
Do you? I mean, yet again, you've been in the political space for a while now. Is there any strategy for the governor to win people from the other camp into his camp? I mean, we saw that play out during the former governor's time as governor. He had a way of winning people.
The only strategy left. Yeah, we had this conversation a couple of months ago, and I told you that it's a question of who has a deeper pocket. Remember that conversation? When we were comparing the budget of FCT to that of Rivers State?
Yeah, we did.
And all of that, yes. And,
I remember I
kept telling
you were in Benway at the time. Yeah.
Yes, and I kept saying that on paper, it may look as if the FCT budget is high. I'm just saying this point blank because of the way we play politics in Nigeria. Politics in Nigeria is funded directly from government coffers.
I see.
Party members don't pay dues. I double dare any member of the party who did not run for election to show evidence of the last dues they paid to their party. Across political parties. So it is a political office holder. That is how individuals became stronger than institutions. It is the political office holders who fund these parties. Political parties are very expensive organizations, from their media campaign to events and what we call consultation, which is the highest level of corruption. A situation where you have to carry 1922 bottle of wine, worth probably some couple of millions, to go and greet somebody somewhere in consultation. So when you talk about spending now, even though the FCT minister looks like he has it all going on, I think the governor has a deeper wallet. So if he wants to win other people, it's like when the Champions League is over. After the Euros, I'm sure the Champions League will resume. So it's a window period for buying players. So he needs to go to the market with big money to see if he can do transfers and see if he can buy more players into the simplified movement from the other clubs.
Marcus, apart from buying players or politicians, as the case may be, what about if his followers begin to be party members, those who are, and they say, okay, you know what, because we're supporting the governor, we're all going to take up the membership of the PDP, for instance, or we're going to take up the membership of the Labour Party, for instance, and everybody comes together and begin to pay dues in the party so that they can have a say in the party and so that they can find some kind of control in the party. Or better still, can the people who are supporters begin to call the lawmakers who represent them to order and say, hey, see, we support these people, so we support the governor and his people, so maybe you want to take a step back up until the elections? Could that be a scenario that he'll be a strategy that he can use?
The truth is, it's easier to control a sitting governor than a member of House of Assembly or National Assembly.
Why'd you say
the
so?
recall process is so tedious that you almost not want to dare it. So if you talk to your assembly representative to say, oh, so in this area, majority, first and foremost, how do you assess the majority in those different constituents to see that if the majority are for the governor, they can put pressure on their members to support him too? That doesn't work. In an ideal situation, that can work, but in Nigeria, it will not work because these members will only rely on party delegates for their primary elections, not the people. The first election that gives them the ticket does not involve everybody. It involves, again, the stakeholders, these corrupt stakeholders that I talked about. So those...
Let's work it again.
Can talk to this member, any good results will come out of that. In the absence of that, what the people can do is to put pressure on the governor to perform. I remember saying this on your show a couple of time ago, that if I were the governor, Rivers people will see project like never before. As a matter of fact, you know what the former governor did on his way out of office, where he was saying, was it 100 days, 100 project, or 10 days project, something like that. That he was practically commissioning projects every week. You just be driving on the street of Port Harcourt, they are blocked the streets. They're either commissioning something there or they are breaking one ground somewhere. So this is the thing that Africans like. So the governor should now, at this point, begin to ensure that all the street lights in Port Harcourt are working, ensure that the police is, now it looks like everybody is saying, oh, the police is biased, the police is against the governor. If I were in his shoes, I would donate up to 50 or 100 trucks to the police. And begin to do things that will change the narrative, such that these men will be forced to change their mind because of the force of the people. Until then, it's until election morning.
But Marcus, will that not be putting us in a never-ending negative cycle? You say do things that the people like, not what the people need. Should we not be maybe, because your project idea is not a bad one, but don't you think maybe we should be going into the rural areas? Because I've been in certain communities. Go ahead.
What they like and what they need, in my own opinion, are one and the same. However, it doesn't take it. Before now, we used to have an agency in Rivers State called the Rivers State Sustainable Development Agency. They have the office somewhere around the My One Flyover, RSSDA. And yes, if you revive such an agency, for instance, it doesn't take, if you give them 3 months marching order or even a month, they can do all the needs assessment in all the local government so that you don't do projects that the people don't need. That problem you are raising can be solved with simple needs assessment. If you don't want to revive the agency, you can empower all the different ministries to go out and do their needs assessment, because we have ministries covering virtually every part of our national life and local development.
All right. We do have a commercial break coming up, and after that, I'll ask you some few more questions. But, I want to ask, should he run to the president at this point? Do you think the president will be able to mediate, bring about a solution, a political solution at that?
The president has done his best. I don't know, the president has done his best by calling them to sign the Abuja Accord. The president is also battling his own reputation with the way the economy is going and other things. He would not, the Rivers State was very critical to the president in the last election. That is his winning, because if you remove the nearly 1 million vote that came from Rivers State from the 8-point-something million the president got, probably would have lost that election. So the president is also treading with caution as far as Rivers State is concerned. And again, I repeat myself, he is waiting for who will win. Then he pitches his tent. So if he runs to the president, he never can tell. You are running to the president, probably need to book appointment with the president. You see him maybe once in a month at the State Federal Executive Council, the name of the other council, the one that the governors and former president attends. I forgot that name.
Economic Council.
Yes. While the FCT minister sees him every day. Every week. At least every Wednesday or Thursday when they're having FEC. He will be there. So who has more access to the president?
All right, let's go for a commercial. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Just stay tuned.
No problem.
You are tuned in to
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back after this.
an exciting
Info.
All right, 29 minutes gone past the hour of 5. You're listening to Hard Facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info. I am Kalada Korubatibo. You can follow me on social media, dkalada, THEKALADA. We're talking political dynamics in Rivers State. You can add this, the fight for political structure and all of that. And I'm asking, how well do you think the governor has played the political game, and what can he do, to win the battle? Because there is some kind of political battle in Rivers State. What can he do, to ensure that the naysayers, the people, and because a lot of you say, we like the governor, we love the governor, and so we're coming together to say, okay, is there a chance? Because with the court ruling that we saw today, there is the possibility, of course, there are always possibilities when it comes to court cases, and we're not going to be here to preempt the court, but I'm just looking at it from what has been done by the Court of Appeal, and I'm looking at the possibility the judicial pendulum swings in favor of Martin and co. What then happens, to the whole political situation in Rivers State? So what can the governor and his followers do? The other day he was lamenting about the PDP, so he can't necessarily run to the political party except something changes. And trust me, in my opinion, I do think the political party, the People's Democratic Party, has got a crucial, sensitive role to play in the matters before some of the Federal High Court as to the membership of Martin Amaewhule and others. So, we're looking at it. While we're waiting for the courts, what do you think of the political game in Rivers State? And how do you think, the people can win? I'm seeing how I can drag the people into this, right? But I've got Marcus Ijema. I almost called you Martin. But Marcus Ijema, welcome. Marcus is a social-political commentator and is into the media business here in Rivers State. Thank you very much, and I do appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
I promise not to keep you for too long, so I'm just going to throw a few more questions at you. Before the commercial break, we were talking about the president helping to mediate, and you said at this point the president is looking out for himself, and also he had done some kind of mediation before the Abuja Accord, and right now it's just for him to sit back, relax, and watch who wins. I guess that's what you said.
Yes.
Do you think going back to the what was it called now? Do you think going back to the former governor, now minister, would be a good solution to whatever problem in Rivers State? Some guests some time ago had said something like that. Do you think that will be in any way, the solution to the political battle in Rivers State?
I totally agree. If it ends here, in other words, if there is no appeal to Supreme Court, if there's nobody moves further to Supreme Court to challenge this appeal court ruling, that appears to be the only solution right now, and the fastest option available.
I see. All right. So for you, let's get it straight. You're saying the governor should find a way to. Let's go through your three options again. Number one, you had said, if I remember very well, he should.
The first option is to encourage the other House of Assembly members loyal to him to proceed to Supreme Court.
Then the second.
You understand?
Then the second one was to expel people from the ward. From the party, from the ward.
If
level.
he has control, yes. If he has control of the PDP. He can look for a reason to expel them from their different ward.
Interesting. Or the third option.
That's the way they cease to be members of the political party.
All right. So your final words on the matter as we let you go so you can go on with your duties for the day.
My final word is that they should proceed to Supreme Court. Okay. Every other solution will be discussed after that. If they proceed to the Supreme Court and the governor loses, he would have lost gallantly. He would have fought to the end, and his loyal men would have fought to the end, and the Nigerian jurisprudence will hold that credit to him that for the first time in history, we have been able to establish whether defection means losing your seat or not.
Okay.
Because the way it is written in the Constitution has been a subject of argument from, even there was a time lawyers almost fought in your studio, over this issue. So let's get to the Supreme Court. I would beg them to go to the Supreme Court. I'm not asking that the protest should continue and for no. Let's get to the Supreme Court and end this matter once and for all. If the House of Assembly members, the 23, wins and they come back, nothing stops the governor from shaking their hands and saying, guys, this is just a political game, forgive me, let's move on. Nothing stops the governor from going back to the FCT minister and saying, now I know that you were right from beginning. Let's move on for the sake of River State. And we move on.
Will that
if the House of Assembly members choose to,
will that not be too late?
It will not be late.
Okay.
The FCT minister is not God, and even God can be appeased.
Okay. All right.
There is no crime there's no offense that you can't appease, either in the shrine or in the mercy house of God.
Final question. I remember the question I want to ask you, so I can let you go real this time. And it is the structure now. We've seen the governor build structure. We've seen caretaker chairman. We've seen appointments. We've seen certain people surround him. Do you think these people can make a good political fight?
Yes, they can. They have shown capacity. Since he appointed the caretaker, I think his system became more stronger, because now you have men manning for you at every ward. That's the whole idea of a structure. Remember when they were saying Obi didn't have structure? They were saying when people were not in the grassroots. Now you have caretaker committee chairman with representation from the ward level.
All right, then.
So the structure is fully in place. He has his own structure. The FCT minister has his own structure. So structure versus structure, and we'll have a good structure.
All right, then. All right, thank you very much, Marcus Ijeman. Thank you for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Carla. It's always a pleasure having you.
All right, then. All right, we'll continue conversation, but I had to let him go, so I quickly had to rush my last few questions. So now we'll first take a look at the headline news, and after that, I'll take your calls, and you and I will talk for development. Just stay tuned.
Headline News, Nigeria Info on
92.3.
Headline News.
Lawyers react as court nullifies expulsion of Martin Amaewhule, 24 orders from Rivers State House of Assembly. PDP calls for calm as court avoids election of Edo State governorship candidate. NAFDAC shuts 4 unregistered bakeries in Rivers State. Federal government warns of more flood spread of cholera. President Tinubu gives marching order to Economic Coordinating Committee. All right, just stay tuned. Conversations continue on Hard Facts.
This is Hard Fact.
Officially, the phone lines are open. Yes, I'm opening the floodgates so you can call in and tell me what your thoughts are on the political dynamics in Rivers State. How well do you think the politics has been played, and how much better can it be played by those at the Brick House? And that's what we're looking at today. We're looking at political dynamics, all right? You can call in 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007. Remember to keep your comments clean, because only clean comments we will take on the show. Any derogatory comment will not be taken. So yeah, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and 0817-923-0007. WhatsApp 0809-0306416. He said, hello, FCT and Rivers State government, who controls more money? Please compare their budget. Christian from Port Harcourt. All right, Christian. This one says if he wants to win, he should put food on people's table, bring in investors, invest the millions they spend on lawyers to go to court on human beings. The money these guys waste on court since 2013, imagine if it was channeled to the health sectors or educational. Ernest from Oji with that one. But I've got another Christian, and he is at Bonny Island.
An election
Christian.
under a particular... Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now? Welcome on the show.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, welcome.
Hello?
I can hear you. Let's get your thoughts, please, Christian.
Okay. I said I would have loved the governor to proceed to the Supreme Court as advised.
Okay.
But I would want the authority, the body, the law, the Constitution of Nigeria to, make it, point clear that if you defect from a political party under which you win an election to another political party, your seat should be vacant. You should forfeit everything that is the best solution. This issue, they should put a final stop to it so that it doesn't cause problem in the future.
But I mean, Christian, politicians will always be politicians. I do think the Constitution is as clear as crystal, but politicians will be politicians, right? So we're in court.
Because if this issue continues to linger, it will continue to disrupt the political future of this country, and the politicians will always use this. You understand? As a gimmick, as a plan.
All right, Christian, I've got to go.
Yes, thank you very much.
I've got to go. Muriel is calling me from Okrika. Muriel, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear.
Hi, Teddy B. Good evening.
Yeah, greetings to you.
Look, Teddy B, if this country finally collapses or crumbles, I'm going to blame the judges and the courts. Teddy B, how can a lawyer carry his client to a court that does not have jurisdiction over their matter? And how can a court accept a matter that knows that this matter does not belong to their jurisdiction? And a judge will sit down and preside over a matter
Muriel, if you listen to the conversations between the lawyers from the different divides, you would see that both sides do have a point. And that's why we're waiting for the Supreme Court, because the arguments are very valid from both sides. The Constitution is opaque when it comes to, and I understand where the Court of Appeal is coming from, because categorically it was written that the Federal High Court will do XYZ, which it has done right now. Or rather, which Justice Omotosho's court did, and unlike Justice Charles Wiley's court. However, some have said since it was also not categorically written, it also means that the State High Court can touch the matter. So there are different arguments to this thing. And so when we get to the Supreme Court, we would know.
Maybe I know. I understand what you're saying. I listen very well. Before I say 3 minutes of listening. But my anger is that I know your question, but how will this court continue to accept matters that do not fall within the
I understand.
It is not right. But then what I learned in all this is that the court against this matter also said that the Martins and Mewule action will not be allowed to sit. That they are going to maintain that other court of appeal that they should maintain status quo.
Which other court of appeal?
They will not be allowed to sit as lawmakers. I don't know if you've seen that.
Which other court of appeal? I've not seen that judgment, and I can't debate.
Yeah, that's what it's like. If you read down, that's what it's saying, that they will not be allowed to sit.
Now,
but they are recognized as lawmakers.
There is no such. I don't think there was any such statement that they would not be allowed to sit. I mean, how are you, Speaker?
I think it's from your speaker. I don't want to mention the name of the speaker.
Like I said, I have not seen that.
But I think what the governor should do, is that they should just wait and go to the right place where before the decision will be final. If they detected, there are evidence, there are proofs that they detected.
All right,
so let's see what the Supreme Court will rule out.
All right, thank you.
They will go and contradict themselves in their human judgment.
All right, thank you, Muriel. All right, Muriel, thank you. Letan Barry, greetings. Welcome from Bori, I guess.
Canada.
You're welcome.
Yeah. For me, I just want to advise the Victor Oko-Jumbo-led people to bounce Supreme Court.
Why would you give that? Why would you give that advice?
Their legal team has not been able to brief them well, and so they lack that legal stand to follow the current situation as regard to what happens in the House of Assembly, what gives them the power, the legal ground. I think they don't have a team that has been able to brief them. If not, there are some cases they wouldn't have.
We, the Simplified Movement Watch Democratic Party in Ikwere LGA of River State, happily congratulate His Excellency, Sir